Ladies and gents, good afternoon. Sorry to start with you then, mid-conversation. Apologies about the delay. There was something to do with pixels, and I don't know what that means, but with the screen. All right, so we are now on the way. Apparently, Jags is going to try and make this happen at some point, but between my voice and hopefully this screen, we should be okay. All right. Firstly, thank you for coming. Welcome to our very first summit. Before I dive into... Hold that applause, all right. Before we dive into a bit more information on what the summit is and kind of go into all the stuff that we have planned, you have been sat down for a little while, all right? Now we're going to go into a little icebreaker. Everyone loves an icebreaker, okay? It's not your normal icebreaker, so don't panic, all right? But I am going to need you up on your feet and moving around just a little bit, okay? Now, we're going to use this aisle, all right? Please be aware there is a camera and a microphone, all right? So just be careful of those two things. We're going to do a bit of lining up, all right? And it will involve you talking to some people, okay? But it should be okay, I promise. You're going to line yourself up in a second. Very simply, from tallest to shortest. Now, Kelly, you stay at the back, all right? We're going to have the tallest at the front. Funnily enough, me. We're going to have the tallest at the front, and we are going to make our way down towards the shortest at the back, okay? So you have about 2 minutes or less, ideally, to make that happen. Tallest, shortest, go. Away you go. Harry, make your way down, sir. Tallest right down the front here, so all the way down.
I was going to say, yeah. We're going to go longest member at T2FIT.
Oh shit. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so you've been in the longest, work your way down.
How long have you been? Well, I signed back up on Wednesday, so not long. Depends how long they mean.
Are you factoring everything in? Yeah, exactly, yeah. Are we talking about first membership or entire?
I don't know.
Longest at Old Colston, okay?
not here though. I don't think anyone else is here.
You were probably before me.
I think Julie was before me. Julie, you were before me, weren't you?
No, you look
over here, but I was in PT.
I would tell you.
Oh, you didn't sign up?
Because we were already signed up.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
We were.
Yeah.
Even before you knew
I
about
think
it.
we were signed up from when Luke told us back in March.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Dream team of his.
Wow.
So you're definitely here. Yes,
That's
correct.
a test, isn't it?
Yeah.
Correct. Is that right? That chat.
Final one, right? Your final one. I want you to go as best you can, alphabetical order for first name.
Oh,
Go back then.
that's
Go
just a bit
back.
like, come on, you.
Go back.
I'm back and I'm Jay. You're in the middle, probably. Yeah, with Jules. Jules, Julie, Jay.
What's your first name?
A. Anna.
What's your name, sir?
Anna.
I am an A-N-G.
Are you all A?
Yes.
I'm the only B. Yeah.
What's your name?
Oh, Bertie, that's more easy.
Okay, say it again.
Bertrand.
Bertrand. Oh, yes! Bertrand. Whoop. I think in Polish it will be Bartek.
Sorry?
In Polish,
Yeah.
Bartek.
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 That's it.
Oh, that sounds good. I like that.
To your left and to your right. Okay, if you don't know really who they are, please.
Bertrand.
Angela.
So what's your name?
Anna.
Anna.
Lovely. Bertrand. Oh, well done.
Good job.
Oh, well done.
Okay, so ladies and gents, as I mentioned, welcome. Appreciate you coming to our very, very first summit. But a little bit just kind of behind the summit, what it is and why we're doing it. Okay, so this is actually going to be a quarterly strategy meeting going into New Year. Okay, so our next one is going to be in January. We're going to have one every quarter through 2024. Okay, we're going to try and run this in conjunction with the Coach to Accountability. That's something that we looked at kind of restructuring a couple of months ago. You had emails about it, that kind of stuff. All right, hopefully you've been introduced to your coach. There's been a little bit of a shuffle there, but over the next month or so, that's going to really kind of settle down, bed in, and you can get some good quality work done with your coaches. This is something that we can use and really leverage alongside that. Okay, so it could be that the work you're doing with your coach is something that you kind of bring to this summit. Okay, bring to that strategy meeting and you hold it as kind of accountability, if you will. Or it might be something that actually we delve into something in the summit and you think is really, really worth working on. You can take that to your coach and you can work on that moving forward. Okay. Ultimately, we're looking to offer better guidance, support, and accountability. That is basically what Coach Accountability is all about, and the summit is no different. Okay. And our real plan over the next 12 months is to start linking the training side, which I hope you'll agree we do a pretty good job of, with the lifestyle and the mindset side, okay? Because I'm not saying it's a missing link, but it's definitely something the more we can tap into, and you can work both here and with your coaches, I think we're going to get more from that training side. And basically we help you then create more meaningful and longer lasting change, okay? Which, fingers crossed, will always lead to better results. Okay. So how do you get the most from today? I apologise if I keep blocking your your view off there. So the first thing is be open-minded with it. Okay, so be open-minded and just try and take it on board as best you possibly can. Be completely honest with yourself. There will be a couple of times where I really need you to start digging a little bit deeper. all right? Past the surface layer stuff and be really honest about some things. And we'll come on to that in a bit. Understand that this is designed to help you maximize your potential. So everything we do, everything we mention, we talk about, either I talk about or you talk about with each other in a bit, is designed to help you. Simple as that, all right? And there'll be a couple of times where we might challenge you a little bit or challenge your things you've done in the past or your thought processes. And the open-minded bit comes back again. I'm not looking for you to put barriers up and create barriers and feel like we're attacking you or things you've done in the past. It's like just you reflecting more, okay? Be an active participant. We've seen that already. Thank you for that, all right? There'll be quite a bit as we move through this summit where you have to kind of engage and talk with others. And do that as best you can, both for you and for the person that you're talking to. Share your wins and your failures. All right, there'll be, again, sections where we actually look at how successful you've been in the past and times where maybe you haven't been so successful and there's been some failures, but share both. Don't just celebrate the wins, because actually it's going to really help you and it really might help the person, again, that you're speaking to, okay? And then tied into that, be willing to help others, okay? So don't just kind of suck all the information or time and effort off of that person when you're speaking and then switch off when they're speaking, all right? Listen, add value, give feedback as best you possibly can, okay? So today's aims and objectives. We have this kind of 4-tiered approach to it, okay? And this is going to be something, again, hopefully we'll kind of touch back on through every summit and probably with your coaches in the Coach Accountability. So the first objective is learning how to ask yourself the right questions. Sounds simple, but actually asking yourself the right questions is actually quite difficult. Sometimes a little bit uncomfortable and quite challenging. So we look at how we can do that. Understand why you may not be winning. Okay, again, it comes back into challenging some things done in the past. Understand how to set and action better quality goals. Okay, so setting goals is something that you probably would have heard a number of times. The action point there is just so key. Okay, so we want better quality kind of setting in the first place, but then it's how do I actually action it moving forward. Okay, and the last little thing there is having something specific, and again, that word is highlighted for a reason, something specific, and again, actionable is highlighted for you to take away today. Okay, so the aims are provide education and clarity around that 4-stage process, for you to have a clearer understanding of actually what it is you want to achieve. But that isn't my goal to tell you that. It's my goal, hopefully, to try and bring it out of you a little bit. It needs to be something that you want to do, your goal, something that you want to achieve. Have a realistic and personalised plan of how to be successful. Probably should have actually highlighted the word realistic, okay? Problem is we kind of set ourselves up for failure a lot of times when it comes to goal setting, because the goals that we set just aren't realistic, okay? That comes back down into reflection, asking yourself the right questions, which again we'll touch on. And it's personalised to you, no one else, okay? And then have clear and meaningful action points that you can implement right away, okay? So again, it's, yes, having some big actionables, of course, something that will take maybe longer, okay, over a period of time, but it's the kind of things that actually you can do now. You could do this afternoon when you leave here, this evening, tomorrow morning, those kind of things, okay? Ready? Let's go. So the first thing here, simple, not easy. And I wanted to highlight this because I think it's super important. We are in a place now where everything is made simple for us, okay? Not necessarily in the gym, but like just in life, in the world. Everything is designed to be as simple and as easy as possible, not simple, as easy as possible, all right? But it doesn't always do us the best service, okay? It's always just quick fixes. We need everything now or yesterday, yeah? And that can help to a certain extent, but actually there's no real oomph behind that at all. There's no substance behind it. And actually I don't really like the word simple either. It should say simpler, because none of this is going to be simple. Anything that you are looking to set out and achieve, if it actually is worth doing, all right, and actually kind of meaningful to you, it's not going to be simple, okay? Anyone tells you that it's going to be simple is lying to you, okay? My goal isn't to make it simple. My goal is to make it, hopefully, simpler, all right? But I'm not here to say that it's going to be easy, okay? And if you are looking for something easy, I promise you, you will not find it here. That's not my goal, okay? I'd be lying. Now, kind of one of our ethoses here at T2FIT is everything that we do here is designed to give you the best possible opportunity to be successful. And my aim today, as I said before, is to provide some clarity and help you set high quality strategies that you can implement straight away. However, we have a warning, all right? This is the first time I'm going to challenge you a little bit on this. And again, be open-minded to it, all right? It's not an attack, I promise. You have to be very honest and realistic with yourself about where you currently are and where you want to be, okay? So I've had a few conversations recently as part of actually Coached Accountability. And it's really important that we understand where we currently are, all right? And it's great to have goals, it's great to have aims and aspirations and things you want to kind of work towards. I get that. I encourage it, okay? Absolutely. But you have to think about where you currently are, all right? Is it the right time to actually set those goals? Does that goal need to be a longer term thing, and actually there needs to be something that kind of bridges that gap a little bit? Is my lifestyle, work, home life, whatever, is it the perfect time for me to be doing that? Is it realistic, if I'm really honest with myself, that that's going to be something I can be successful at, okay? And you know what? If it's not, it's actually really okay. It just means that there might need to be some additional strategies in place that kind of bridge those gaps, and then when the time comes and things work out a bit better, we can start to work towards the actual kind of end goal. Does that make sense? Yeah? Hopefully. But most importantly, you have to be honest with what you are actually willing to do to get there, okay? And if you only take one thing away from today, I want you to write that down. So everyone write that down. Because if you only take one thing away, it needs to be that, okay? So I'm going to say it again as you're writing it. And don't just write it down, don't think about it, think about it as you write. So you have to be honest with what you are willing to do to get there. Because again, we said we can make things simpler, but it's not easy. We can't make it easy. I don't want to make it easy, okay? If it's too easy, then that goal probably is not a stretch goal enough for you, all right? But what are you actually willing to do to get there? Because there's going to be times where it gets really tough. There's going to be sacrifices to be made, all right? So think about what you're actually willing to do to get there. Because if you're not willing to do the work, again, that's okay. But we now understand the reason why we haven't been able to achieve that, okay? And it might just be a thing, again, that it's not the right time yet, yeah? So we might still want to work towards that. I recently had a conversation about doing an Ironman next year. I'm not willing to do that. Simple as that. Will I ever do an Ironman? Possibly, yeah. But I know next year is going to be super busy. Time is not going to work for me to try and fit in swims, bikes, runs. Clive, you know all about that, all right? No way. Plus my wife would kill me, all right? It's not the right time. But would I love to do an Ironman? Yeah, awesome. Can I put things in place that are going to help me when I eventually do that? Absolutely. Am I still working towards the goal? Yes. But there's no point in me saying, yeah, I'm going to sign up for that Ironman in September, and actually then I might still get that done because I'm stubborn and I'm going to do it. But actually I'm not going to do it in a particularly good time. I won't enjoy the process. I won't enjoy the event itself. And actually work, home life might really suffer. It's silly. I'm setting myself up for an unsuccessful journey on that, okay? So think about what you're willing to do to get there. And again, think about where you currently are, all right? And you might not be able to see that too clearly, but I found this because I really like it. People see this and it's the tip of the iceberg and it's kind of success, okay? So again, I'll use an example. Luke on his photo shoot, okay? You probably would have seen at some point pictures going around, he put a few out, all right? About with him all oiled up in front of a camera, he looked amazing. All right, and he looked phenomenal. He looked amazing. He put a load of work in. But actually, when you think about everything that went into that, and as a team, we know all about it, all right? There was hard work, there was risk, late nights, I'm going to put early mornings in there, struggles, failures, persistence, action, discipline, huge, courage, doubts, changes, criticism, disappointment, adversity, rejections, and sacrifices. And sacrifices probably should need be at the top somewhere as one of the main ones, okay? Do not underestimate what you have to do and the things that have to be in place for you to be successful. And that's not me putting you off trying to achieve a goal. That's just a reality, okay? But then my goal is to help you today a little bit to make things simpler and have some things in place that make it a little bit easier, okay? And I quite like this one as well, all right? If you want something you've never had, you must be willing, again it's that word willing, to do something that you've never done, all right? I think it's super true, super important for us to home in on. You may have been successful in the past, you're thinking, yeah, well, I've done it before, so that's all right. Cool, awesome, happy days. Well, step one, we know how we can get back there, but then why haven't we stayed there? So the doing something that you haven't done before is finding strategies and pathways that are going to allow you to sustain that for a longer period of time and become a lifestyle thing. Okay? So really think about that. If it's something that you've never had, you've got to be willing to do something you've never done. Okay? And it's okay to fail, all right, as long as we learn. And this typically is what we think on the left-hand side there, we think success looks like. It definitely, I wish it did, all right? A real clear, linear pathway straight through to success, yeah? And then again, we're looking through things and we're trying to find information to make it easier. We're thinking, yeah, that line's going to go straight up in the air, we're going to get there, happy days, no dramas. The reality is that success looks like the right-hand side. It's all over the place, okay? It's normal. It's exactly what you would expect, and it's absolutely okay, because we can learn from the failures. If we don't learn from the failures and we don't have reflection and then go in again, yeah? Could it be that we've created that negative association or mindset with that goal, that trigger? Yeah, and that just comes back down to bad planning in the first place. So it's okay to fail. We have a think, we move forward, and we change, we implement something slightly different, okay? If we are failing, if we learn, it's okay, and that on the right-hand side there is completely normal. So learning from failure, as I mentioned, comes down to reflection. And then reflection kind of ties into our very first objective. So how to learn to ask yourself the right questions, okay? So this is going to be your first task where you're actually going to start to talk to each other, all right, dare I say it, all right? So you're going to be turning to the person on your left, okay, in a second, all right? And you're going to be talking through a few points. So the first one is, take yourself back to a time where you were successful. Why were you successful? Okay, this is the first task. You're then going to think what specifically worked for you, and then you're going to think about how that process made you feel. Okay? This hasn't got to be a gym, fitness, nutrition related thing. If it is, then happy days. It could be work related, it could be home life, lifestyle, anything. Okay? Anything where there has been a process, you have been successful, what worked for you to get to that point, and how it made you feel. Okay? So you've got a little bit of time, around 5-6 minutes, something like that. Turn to the person on your left. If it's odd numbers, working as 3. Okay? You're going to answer those 3 questions. I want you to write some stuff down so you get some takeaways. But I want you to share and talk your way through those 3 points. Does that make sense? Any questions on that so far? Now we have coaches around the room that are going to come around and it's going to help guide you through that if you need it. So if it doesn't make sense, hand up so we know to come around and help, okay? So around 6 minutes or so, I'll tell you when to change over.
wise, he's probably if you're a bit like that's when it goes a bit more quiet. But here, absolutely fine. Over here, absolutely fine.
I'll try and stay in that pocket.
Yeah.
I want to try and stay back from them anyway, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Tracy.
Oh, sweet.
One more minute. Seconds.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Bring those conversations to a close. Amazing. Awesome. Lots of chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. So, what I would love for you to do now, okay, is for at least two of you can come up here, but just share what we put down for those three, okay? So remember what we said earlier. This is the point now where you saying something could potentially help someone else, all right? So be active as best you possibly can within this and, yeah, share. If not, I have to do that really awkward thing where I start picking people, okay? So, is there anyone that would like to talk through what they had for those three things? Or at least the first two things, anyway. Catherine, appreciate that, thank you. So, the time that you were successful, what was it?
Well, it was actually both Kish and I both had the same experience. We both learned to run 5K.
Amazing.
I didn't have the couch to 5K until I did myself. Kish did the same. He's running 5K since he's been here.
Lovely, awesome. So, why do you think you were successful with that?
Well, we actually both agreed it was because we got up early in the morning to do it. Either come in here to the gym, Kish, to work out, or I started learning to run first thing in the morning before I did everything else. Cool. So committed to doing it early.
Amazing. And what was the thought process behind doing it early, just so it was kind of out of the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it.
Cool.
Getting out of the way, and I just knew if I got up, had a shower, had my breakfast, I wouldn't do it. Whereas if I got out of bed, literally put my running clothes on and went and did it, then I would.
Yeah. And what specifically worked for you there? I think you kind of touched on it really, but go on, what's things you have to really make sure you put in place to do that? Like, is there anything?
I running kit out the night before. I knew the minute I woke up, I wouldn't even have a cup of tea. I'd have a glass of water and do it, and it's done.
Awesome.
3 times a week.
Preparation.
Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. How did it make you feel running 5K?
Really proud.
Yeah.
I never loved it.
Yeah. No, fair.
All these runners that love it, I'm like, I don't know what. But I was really proud that I actually achieved it.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you. Perfect. Anyone else? I need one more. Shannon, thank you.
So for my wedding, I wanted to do great.
Yeah.
So I did this 8-week challenge at another facility, and I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But I was obsessive, so I'd go 7 days a week. My calories, I cut right back. I was a very happy person to be around. But I was quite competitive, so I wanted to get to that goal.
Yeah.
So I did. In the end, I got great, having achieved it, and also reaching a point where like I felt like I was happy in myself, happy in my body. I put my clothes on in the morning and not have to worry about what I look like in the mirror.
So interestingly, there was some success there. So over a course of 8 weeks, we dropped a load of weight. Yeah. But actually, you were saying there that you were quite unhappy at the same time. It's obviously quite.
According to my husband.
According to your husband, you were anyway. Okay. Fine.
I got fine.
Good. Good. Fair enough. But again, it's an important side of it because it can have positive and negative effects on those around you as well, right? So we have to kind of take that into account. What specifically worked for you to kind of drop that weight over 8 weeks?
I was obsessive about it. I'd go 7 days a week, and I was religiously following the meal plans. I was saying, go to my sister plays, my sister-in-law plays touch over Ireland, and we go to tournaments to follow her, and everyone would be enjoying, the pies and sausage rolls, and I'd be there eating my watermelon. But I was so focused, I prioritised it so much, it didn't really bother me. I was so committed. So I think it was me being sort of competitive and committed that actually worked for me to actually to get through that sort of period.
And you were essentially willing to do all those things and make the sacrifices and really kind of home in and commit because obviously you had quite a strong why, the reason behind it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So on both sides of that, basically we have this kind of real underlying commitment to it. Okay, they've made a decision. It's like, I'm going to make this happen. It's getting up early. It's the discipline around food when there's other real nice options around, things like that. So come back into the sacrifice thing. Awesome, happy days. Hopefully that kind of highlights some things where you have been successful, of course, but the things that really work for you, all right, but also why you were successful within that, yeah? So, task 2, funnily enough, is going to be the opposite, okay? So you can take yourself back to a time where you were unsuccessful with something. Again, this could be gym, food, lifestyle, work, whatever, okay? Why you were unsuccessful, what specifically did not work for you, and again, how did that process make you feel, all right? You're going to talk now to the person on your right, someone you haven't spoken to yet, okay? And repeat that same process, please, okay? 6 minutes of time, away you ladies and gents. 2 minutes, please. One minute. Last minute. Okay, ladies and gents. Wrap up that conversation for me. Lovely. Who's on DJ? Awesome. Okay. Who's going to take the plunge on this one? Who's going to do a bit of sharing for us? Otherwise I have to just like start doing this. Someone.
You don't need to go, JC.
Floor is yours.
This is probably a common one for some of us, but job interviews.
Yeah, love that.
That
Yeah.
can be painful in the corporate environment. I've been for a job interview and I've been for a few. Some you get, some you don't get. And why is that? Maybe your face doesn't fit, but ultimately it's probably down to preparation. Lack of preparation, not doing your research, your homework. But as I've always said, you don't lose, you learn. So off the back of that, next time you can come back stronger. And the harder you try, sometimes the luckier you get. And then when you do get that phone call to say that, yeah, you've got that job, that makes you feel on top of the world.
Yeah, completely agree. And also I think actually it's interesting with the job interview thing, because this is one of the things I thought about, is sometimes there's just, for an interview anyway, just someone who is just a bit better, who gets that job role. That's not necessarily a lack of prep on your part or anything like that. It's just one of those things. One of those things that goes in your way, and sometimes you're working towards a goal, whatever, something happens, something you haven't accounted for. You know, a process that you can't really work on. Yeah, that happens. Shit happens, alright? It does happen. But again, it's as you said, I learn. Or not even learn, but pick up and go again. Yeah? Love that. Awesome. One more. It's getting tight. It's getting tight. Suki, you must have one.
I do. More than one.
Give me one. Give me one.
Mine was actually being unsuccessful at being a father. Which sounds quite dramatic.
Yep.
But I had literally no relationship with my youngest for about 2.5 years. You know, mum would leave the house and she'd scream blue murder. You know, mum would be in the garden and all she wanted was her mum.
Yeah.
And it was the realization that my work-life balance was completely off.
Yeah.
You know, my argument for that was that, well, if I don't do that, you don't have this.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just struggling to find that that balance. And it does make you feel awful. Like literally, you just can't console this little girl. She cries and you don't know how to stop her from crying. The funniest thing is though, actually starting here, so actually factoring something else in provided clarity and allowed me to find balance.
Yeah.
You know, and gave me some sort of clear headspace to actually start to prioritise, you know, home and actually keeping myself fit for my kids, because fuck, I need it. They're a lot of energy.
Yeah, I love that. So the thing with that, I guess, is there's a couple of things to unpack there. With the job, with that, it's some things are just bigger. Some things are just bigger and they're more important. Putting a big goal or something on top of that wouldn't be a sensible thing to do. Yeah, home life, children, partners, whatever it is, they just sometimes need to take priority, and that's really okay. It's then just trying to make them maybe part of that network for you, and just trying to have those conversations and trying to figure out, okay, well, I want to go here, but how do we do this? How do we do it together? But sometimes, again, maybe it's just not the right time. Yeah, don't try and make more work for yourself. Just be realistic, and comes back to going, well, where am I right now? Yeah, but maybe I can't do that right now, but in time, bit by bit, I can start to put things in place. And actually then, as you said, adding something else to the pot, like the gym, actually kind of helped you realise that you needed a bit more distance away from work, and you kind of actually establish a better kind of work-life balance is key. Taking time for ourselves and prioritising, it could be that getting up early in the morning for a run or whatever. The health, the fitness, the eating better, all that kind of stuff, it sounds really gimmicky, but actually it means we can be, in a lot of instances, better at work or better partners at home, that kind of stuff. And it's just trying to figure out where the priority lies. But adding on, again, let's say, you know, a marathon to that would not be the best idea. Yeah, just realising where we need to be. Some things are just bigger. Yeah, but it doesn't mean we can put it to bed completely. It just means that actually further down the line, I can work for myself towards that. What we could do there is actually go, well, I want to be here. I'm really stuck here. What's my first step? The first step is, okay, I'm going to reach out to that gym. Just take the first step, and then bit by bit, take the next step, take the next step. It hasn't got to be a big leap all the time. Just figure out what your next step's going to be. Yeah, as long as it makes sense to you, figure the rest out bit by bit. Okay, but it's the small steps and trying to trying to get people around you on the same page and work with them a little bit. Yeah, love that. Awesome. Your third task. Okay. So now I want you to start to really dial in a little bit on what the goal actually is. Okay. So what exactly do I want to achieve? So you're going to go, number one, my goal is X. I want to achieve this because I want reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. You probably would have heard myself and the other coaches mention quite a lot about having a why. Okay, I want to do this because that is my why. And it needs to be a kind of a real deep-rooted reason, because actually it needs to be something that when times do get tough, when it is a struggle, we can draw upon that why and go, actually, no, okay, I'm going to stay disciplined, stay focused, stay motivated with this goal. Okay. The reason I want 3 is sometimes, no matter how big that why is, we can put it to one side. I need a backup why. Then sometimes it's cold and wet outside, it's early in the morning, that one can go to the side, I need a backup one again, all right? So back up your backups a little bit, all right? So yes, I want the deep why, but I want the next reason and the next reason. And actually, you might find that when you put reason 1 down, actually sometimes it's not the deep-rooted reason, it's kind of the superficial one. And then you start thinking a little bit deeper, and then that one becomes a bit more meaningful to you. And then when that one's down, you think, well, what's my next one? And you might actually, by the third one, start to actually realise, actually, this is why I wanted to do this in the first place. Yeah, not always, but sometimes it does happen that way. All right? Again, you're going to have the conversation with someone completely new on your table now, so if you need to do a bit of moving around, let's do that. All right? Again, about 6 minutes to try and break that down. At the end, I need you to have this filled out. Okay? So you're going to write it down. My goal is, the reason I want to achieve it is because, reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Talk it through. minutes left. 2 minutes. One minute left. Okay, ladies and gents, wrap that one up for me. Oh. Oh. Do I need to prepare myself? Okay. Ladies and gents, we're going to get moving. Jane's ready to share. Jane's ready to share, okay? So she wants quiet in the room, all right? Okay. Jane, the floor is yours. What's the goal? No, you're right.
I never really thought I had a goal because I love coming here and everything and it's fun and I just carry on, it's nice. But I do have a goal. I want to maintain and be consistent. So I want to carry on coming, and the reasons behind this, because again I didn't think I had a goal, was I know quite a few people, older people that have fallen and ended up in hospital, people that have had cancer, have gone through chemo and everything, and I want to try and stay and support my body and be healthy. So if any of these elements come into my life, which I don't want, I'm giving it a good fighting start. I've got, you know, the strength, the mindset, because I do know people that have passed away, that when they got it, they weren't fit, and I think it just could have given them a little bit of a, you know, they had to keep stopping treatment because, and then once they got healthy again, then they had to go back into it, and yeah, I want to be around. I want to be around for my kids that are getting older, for my job. I feel better in myself. Yeah. And
Love that.
being prepared for old age.
Yeah. I love that.
So I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere.
But I love that. So what's really, I want to really highlight there is actually the goal is to keep doing what you're doing and to stay consistent. And again, I think we often think, when we think goals, it's like, what's the next big thing? How am I going to transform what I'm currently doing? But actually, sometimes we're on the right lines. We're doing the right things. We're happy. We're content with where we are. And we just need to keep doing the same things. And it's, you mentioned strength and mindset within that. So it's not just, you know, yes, it's physical strength, but there's the emotional side, emotional strength, psychological strength, that resiliency that you get from being consistent. But remember, it hasn't always got to be this real big life-changing event. Actually, sometimes the consistency element is more than enough. Perfect, love that, thank you, Jane. Anyone else need one more? John.
Yeah, I can go.
Away you go.
So I've spent 10 years trying to get fit and failed miserably because I can just never stick to it because I never know what I really want to do.
Yeah.
So actually, looking at the back there, these guys have inspired me. So Luke and Cass, I stalk your Instagrams and check out your things. So JT and I have been talking, and I've got a goal to try and get down to single-digit body fat by the 1st of June next year, get my summer body. And there are, if I actually dig into the why, a lot of it is obvious reasons. I want to feel good, I want to look good, I want to make Colin look bad. I've got all sorts of goals. But I think if I really dig into it, I've never been able to do it before.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And I think that's my reason, my want. I want to see what I'm actually capable of doing.
Yeah. Love that. Awesome. So it's really trying to unearth, like I say, what you can, where you can take it, how it, not extreme, probably the wrong word, but like just how far can you actually push on?
What am I actually capable of?
Yeah. Love that.
If I really put my mind to it.
Yeah. Do we think now is the right time to share the actual goal that you initially told me? Because I feel like it is the perfect time.
Do you want me to actually?
I think you should.
So the actual goal, some of the coaches might have heard me say this, is one day I want to walk in here and I want Cass to cower in the corner. He is so intimidating.
There you go. And this is how we work together. It's a beautiful thing. Good. I just want to make sure that I'm here for that day. Awesome. Now, please, please, please make sure that you have this stuff written down, okay? Now, I'm actually going to share mine with you because when I was saying earlier about actually unearthing the real reason behind the why, and actually sometimes as you work down the list, it gets a little bit deeper. That's what happened for me. So my goal at the moment, obviously, is to complete High Rocks. I'm working, obviously, with Luke for doubles at High Rocks November 25th. His goal is sub-hour, mine is to get round. But we want to put a good performance in at High Rocks. So that's my goal, okay? So that was kind of my reason, was to turn up to High Rocks and try and, really make sure that I'm nailing my food, my training, all that kind of stuff. That's cool. Reason number one, achieved. The second one, however, was actually, I'm working in a pair. I've always liked working as part of a team. Come from a rugby background, I've always enjoyed that. And I hate the idea of letting him down. Yeah, hate it. Because he will shout at me, all right? Probably about halfway through, all right? So I can't let that happen, therefore, I've got a fire under my arse to make sure that at 3:45 on a Wednesday, and it's AM, on a Wednesday and a Friday, my alarm goes off to make sure that we're here for that run session on a Wednesday and a High Rock session on a Friday. My arse is here. And yes, he has missed one, all right? just thought I'd put that in there, all right? But actually, when I continue to think about it, yes, the High Rocks is there, not letting Luke down is a real big part of that. But actually, the deep-rooted reason, and the kind of the High Rocks thing masks it a little bit, is the fact that I cannot come into this building as head coach and not be in good shape. Can't do it. Because otherwise, I'm not actually living what I'm telling you guys. So that can't happen. So that there, kind of shadowed by this High Rocks thing, when I start delving a little bit deeper into it and get like, actually, where am I? I can't do that. When you look at the back there, everyone's in fantastic shape. Yeah, I like a beverage. Right? Hey, behave. Behave. We're in great shape, all right? I like a beverage. I like a bit of food, all right? But that's my deep-rooted why, and it took me 2 or 3 to actually get there and actually figure out why that is, yeah? But sometimes delving a little bit deeper and asking yourself question after question, again, it's that reflection we mentioned earlier, asking yourself better questions, that's where you actually end up getting to the deep-rooted stuff, all right? So make sure they're down. Now, objective 2, we're going to start to understand why you might not be winning, okay? And this is key. So this is, in my opinion, it's not an information problem, it is an implementation problem. So if we are not winning, this is why, okay, in my honest opinion. There is all sorts of information out there. You get information here, online, Instagram, books, whatever. We're bombarded with information, some rubbish, some fantastic. It might actually be the fact that the amount of information we get is just too vast, actually becomes too much noise, becomes too foggy. But there's information for days. We live in a world now where you can get information as easy as anything, okay? But it's the implementation. Simple as that. So it's how do I put all of this information that I have at my fingertips into action? Because if we can't implement it, it's not going to work. Yeah, we can provide the best possible program for you, nutrition, macros, down to the absolute letter. But if you can't implement it, we're not going to be successful. Does that make sense? Yeah. So with that, there's no adherence. If I'm not winning, I'm not adhering to a process. Okay. Simple as that. There's no consistency, for want of a better word. And if I'm not adhering to the process, I'm not being consistent, it's because I'm not bought in. There's no buy-in to that, okay? And my buy-in comes from that self-reflection and that lack of awareness. I'm not asking myself the right questions to have that deep, meaningful why, having the layers to that why to be bought in enough, okay? So basically not winning goes to I'm not adhering, I'm not consistent with this because I'm not bought in enough, because I haven't actually thought about what it is I want to achieve and thought about the barriers in my way and the solutions and stuff that I'm going to put in place, the strategies that I'm going to put in place to make it more realistic for me, more achievable, simpler, as we mentioned earlier, right? So what does that mean to you? This is the last little bit to chat for a minute. So I want you to think back to, that there. All right? Write it down, do whatever you've got to do. Find someone else on your table you haven't spoken to. Shorter one this time, though. You've only got 3 minutes, yeah, 1.5 minutes a piece, all right, to chat through that. Away you go. Of course, I appreciate it coming anyway.
No, it's awesome, thank you.
No, absolutely.
I have to go, but it's been a good session, thank
Absolutely
you.
fine, no worries at all. Oh yeah, fine.
It's gone really well, thank you so far.
Yeah, I think so. Getting there.
Okay, cool, well, I'll sit around for 10 minutes and then I'll head out.
Honestly, no worries. Thank you, Emma. I appreciate you coming. Thank you. Okay, you've got about 30 seconds, about 30 seconds. Okay, ladies and gents, we are going to move on. Okay, so, ladies and gents, I'm not going to ask you to kind of really share. The main thing about that was, sorry, go back quickly, was more about just kind of like, say, digesting a little bit, understanding it as a concept, just trying to find maybe what part of that chain or that sequence are we falling at, and it was just kind of a chance for you to kind of chat through that a little bit, okay? Hopefully that kind of makes sense though. So, we're going to move through to objective number 3, and that is understand how to set and action better quality goals. And again, we mentioned earlier, the setting, super important, but the action, okay, very, very important, more so, okay? And it comes into this, and it's something we use called the GROW framework, okay? So the G is goal, so what's exactly, and again, as specific as possible, hence why it's underlined in the word exactly. What exactly do you want to achieve? And we started to delve into the goals, we've set that out a little bit already, okay? What is your current reality? So the barriers that are currently in your way in getting to or achieving that goal, okay? So that is our R. And you'll see this again in a second. O, options. So what are your options? Your solutions to those barriers. So I have a barrier or something in my way that I know is going to be an obstacle. How do I go about getting around that or over that obstacle to make it more successful? Okay? And then the W is, when do you want to achieve this by? Okay, so we actually put a time stamp on it for a little bit of accountability. Okay, sometimes it doesn't need to be that when. If we take ourselves back to James as an example, it was just about continuing that consistency, maintenance, perfect. That when is all the way in the future, okay? But if it is a specific thing, an event, holiday, whatever it may be, then there's going to be a deadline. Or maybe you want to put a deadline on it so that you do again to have that little bit of a fire under your backside, okay? Yeah? So we're actually going to start to build the goal together a little bit, all right? Now, my goal is, and I want to achieve this because it's something we've already done. We have that down, okay? That should be pretty solid. But now I want you to start working on this, okay? So my current reality is this. I want you to list the 3 main barriers that are currently in your way to being successful or achieving that goal, okay? So the 3 main barriers that are currently in your way and the obstacles that you will face in achieving that goal, okay? Feel free to chat through. You haven't got to. You've got about 3 minutes to write those 3 things down. Away you go. Now, ladies and gents, please make sure by all means talk through this, but make sure you have written those 3 down. Okay? Make sure they are down on paper. Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to be moving on to the next one. So hopefully those 3 things are down. Again, just turn your attention back to the screen. Okay, so hopefully we had those 3 things down. If you couldn't get 3 things, it's no bad thing. All right? If you have the 3 things there, we've got them written down. So my options are, so what are your strategies to overcome those barriers and obstacles? So for each one that you put down, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, I now need you to put down, ideally more than 1 to 3 solutions or ways so you can overcome those barriers. Okay? So it could be, for example, just I want to run 5k, I can't do my 5k, it was the getting up early, it was laying out the kit beforehand, it was the preparation around it, yeah? Those kind of things. So each of the 3 that you wrote down just now, I want 1 to 3, ideally more is better for each. Think about the solutions, okay? Again, feel free to chat through it. You've got around that 3-minute mark again. Away you go. And this might require a bit more thinking. If you're stuck or you need help with this one, please let me know. Okay, we're going to go 1 more minute, please. 1 more. Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to move on to our next one. Wrap that one up. Ladies and gents, wrap that one up. We're going to move to the next one. So hopefully you now have 1 to 3 things down for each of the 3 things that you mentioned before, okay? That may have been a trickier exercise, okay? It's a trickier one to do because we've got to start really thinking and delving a little bit deeper, and I get that. But the more thinking, again, the better. We actually then start to highlight where we actually are. And it goes back to that really important point that I mentioned earlier is like, well, I'm getting stuck at this point. How much am I actually willing to do to get there? Okay? Because if we're hitting the barrier and I can't find a way around that barrier, and some barriers are, you know, big brick walls, I get that, but there will be something that you can do, okay? And it might not be the thing that you want to do, but there'll be something maybe just around the corner that you can do that's going to help you get there slowly. But in a lot of these cases, those barriers aren't that high. They're not great big walls, but actually don't fancy climbing it. Yeah? Not willing. Fine. That's okay as long as we're okay with that. All right? But actually, if we're saying, I still want to be over here, I don't understand why I can't get there, then we need to go back and go, well, I'm not bought in enough. If I'm not bought in enough, go back and again ask myself the question, why? What am I doing this for? Okay? So a trickier one, but really have those things down. Very quick one. You've got 30 seconds. When? Go. So I will achieve this by, and I want you to write, I will achieve this by, boom, date. If there is a date to be had, where you go.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Okay, time's up. Cool. So, next thing. Now, I'm giving you less on that because sometimes you need to be pushed a little bit to go, right, it's going to happen. Okay? Now, again, don't get me wrong. Sometimes things happen and those things need to be adjusted and managed a little bit, and that's okay. As we mentioned earlier, that line isn't perfectly like here for success. It's all the way up and down, all right? We can amend and kind of adapt that a little bit, all right? But ultimately, we do that with the things in between that deadline and now. Don't just keep moving the deadline back, all right? But hopefully now you have a date, if you need a date on it, all right? This now, really important. We mentioned earlier about the things that work for you, the things that don't work for you. These are your non-negotiables, okay? So to be successful, to achieve my goal, I must fill the blanks. You have up to 5. You haven't got to fill all 5. If you can, amazing, okay? But the things you know that do work for you, the things that you know do not work for you, what are your non-negotiables? The things that actually, if I need to amend and change things, this is going to be something that stays consistent for me. It may not be an action, it could be a mindset. Yeah? So it might not be, I'm always going to go to the gym Wednesday at 6 a.m. Sometimes things happen, but the mindset is, on a Wednesday morning, I'm going to do something active. Therefore, if I can't make it to the gym, I'm away on holiday, I'm going to go and get my steps in, do a workout at home, whatever it needs to be. Okay, so it hasn't always got to be an action. If it is, great, but it can be a mindset. It can be something that you go, I owe this to myself, this is my commitment to myself. Make sense? Yeah? Feel free again, chat it through where you go. that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
But that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But
if you go
controlling those situations. Yeah? Okay, ladies and gents, we're moving on. We're moving on to the next one. I promise we're almost there, right? A couple of last little bits to get down, okay? Now, I mentioned earlier one of those real key focal points and those kind of 4 pillars were the actionable takeaways. Super important. Again, all this work, the dialogue, the chatting, figuring it all out. It's like, well, okay, well, what am I going to do now? If it needs to be something that you need to implement now, okay? From today, I will. And we need to fill those blanks, the 3 things. It could be, going back to Catherine's point, from today, I will set my alarm earlier. I will follow that up. I will do this. I will do that. I will be more mindful of my evening meal choices. I will make sure that I drink 2 litres of water per day. I will make sure that I book my small group sessions 2 weeks in advance, whatever. The things that you can control from today, tonight, tomorrow, those actionable takeaways, okay? So 3 things. And again, a few minutes just going to get those down and think about them, because you need to then think, okay, well, these are actually going to be things I'm doing like now. Okay, so you need to make that kind of commitment to yourself, all right? 3 things, 1 to 3, ideally 3. Okay, no more than that. Away you go, couple of minutes, just a couple of minutes to put those out.
Around the goal for 224, so it's really good, thank you.
I have to go now.
That's right. Pleasure. No worries. No worries. Okay, just over 1 minute. Just over 1 minute. Okay, ladies and gents, hopefully we have those points down. Bring that conversation to a close, and we're going to move on. We're going to start to wrap this up. Okay, ladies and gents, listen up. Awesome. Hopefully we now have those 3 things down, those actionables. I would now like you to share some things with me, okay? And I'm after 3, and again, I will hit if I need to, okay? I would like 3 of you to basically then share what that whole thing now looks like, okay? So we can kind of see from start to finish what we've built out there. So it's going to be the goal, your reality, so as we mentioned, the obstacles and the things that are in your way. All I need there is you can choose one. The solution, okay, that you've chosen to kind of get around that. When? Non-negotiables. And then one of the things from today that you will do. Okay? Yeah? Who's going to be the first one? You haven't given me the whole list. I say it's just like one of those obstacles, one way you're going to get around it, when you're going to do it by. Give me one non-negotiable, and then one of the things that you're going to be doing from today. Oh, I'm going to pick. Michelle, I have full faith in you. And the fact that you were staring at your diary tells me that you are invested in this process, therefore we're going to get you to share. So, the goal, first and foremost.
Is to be fit, healthy and strong.
Amazing. Obstacles in your way. Give me one.
Lifestyle.
Okay. Lifestyle. Solution around that could be what?
Is nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to focus on nutrition, steps, hydration, and not cop out.
Not cop out. Cool. Awesome. Happy days. By when?
I haven't. It's really hard for me to pin down a date. I need to find something that I will focus on achieving.
Yeah.
So whether that's another High Rocks or a 5K run is a really good example.
Yeah.
And I might need to factor that into my plan. I need some time to consider that one.
Understandable. One of the non-negotiables.
Is to track my food properly.
Cool. Awesome. Happy days. From today, you will do what?
Track my food.
Yeah.
I will step and I will commit to large groups.
Amazing.
Not just book them.
Yeah.
Commit to turn up.
Something I think we could all learn from. So, just very quickly on that. And I want to highlight this because this is, I think, a trap that we all fall into when we do this. And I'm not kind of trying to pull you out of this one, all right? But the goal, repeat the goal.
Well, we had quite a lot of discussion about being fit, healthy and strong. What does that mean as an individual?
Cool, perfect. So that's what you need to figure out. Because the goal itself, to be fit, healthier and stronger, amazing, love it. But we need to have specific. I've highlighted and underlined probably specific a few times on this presentation. It needs to be specific. And you're quite right, sometimes we need a little bit more time to figure out exactly what that is, and you can do that, no dramas. But find something specific. So fitter, healthier and stronger, very broad, and we need to try and really narrow that down. The reality again, so the barrier?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle. What specifically with the lifestyle? I go out, I do this, I have too many friends or whatever it is. Yeah, need to cut some people out, I'm not sure. But be specific with what the reality is. Exactly what within the lifestyle is the barrier. Because then when you go to the solution, which was what?
Nutrition, steps, hydration and not copping out.
Cool, so not copping out, fine. Nutrition, steps, hydration. No specifics there at all. So what specifically with nutrition? What's going to be my focal point? The hydration, how much? Yeah? You need to really start nailing this down as precise as possible, because then it's nice in a way for you because there's nothing holding you accountable. If I've just gone hydration, that could be one extra glass, but actually I need to be at X, Y, Z. So that we've lost the accountability element of that, and it's very hard for you to then track that, or for a coach or someone to hold you accountable, yeah? The non-negotiable?
Track my food.
Cool. So track your food accurately. You've added the accurately in, I like that, good. But that could be, it could be I'm gonna do it, you know, just all the way through. It could be that actually that's a big step right away. So if we're new to tracking, it could be I'm going to track for 5 out of 7 days. I'm going to track just my protein to make sure that I have that down, off, like ready to go. Yeah. So tracking your food all the time, everything that you eat, could be a really good goal for someone who's maybe used to tracking. If it's the first time that you're tracking, narrow it down, make it more specific. Don't set yourself up with a really big task that's going to be really hard to maintain. Yeah. And then from today I will. What was that one again? Sorry, Michelle.
Look at something that's I can aim to achieve, so whether it's an event
Perfect.
or a run or.
Love that. Awesome. So again, that's all really good, but we have to nail it down and be way more specific. Okay. But thank you. I appreciate that, because that was perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll go one more. One more. Anna, thank you. Away you go.
Okay.
So the goal.
I've got a few.
Give me the main goal.
Okay, so assault bike, starting on assault bike, that's my goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's specific about the assault bike, sorry?
Specific, because my relationship with the assault bike is not good, I hate it.
So the goal is to have a better relationship with the assault bike. Yeah, understandable. Okay. So
That's very specific.
yeah. So your reality at the moment, what's the obstacles in your way?
I like when I dread it. So
Yeah.
coming here is like, yes,
Yeah.
that's my reality at the moment.
Fine. Solution around that?
Use it like for every large session to actually go to it first with a smile. That's my.
So you actually so get there first.
Out of the way, but
Yeah. But also what you've touched on there is having a smile. So the way that you approach it and the mindset is different, right? Cool. Awesome. We got an end date on that?
Yeah, end of this year.
End of this year? This year, so by Christmas, yeah? Amazing. Love that. Awesome. Non-negotiables then. So what has to happen?
Keep showing up and trying.
Cool.
That's my.
So just consistency, yeah? You have those sessions where you don't like it, but actually you're just going to go again, that consistency. Amazing. Good. Awesome. So are we going to hang around for a while while you get a session in today, or we don't know what already? Yeah? Cool. Awesome. Happy days. So hopefully now, ladies and gents, we have those in place, all right? We've only picked one thing. Hopefully you've got threes and multiple things to really delve deeper and deeper. And I appreciate quite a lot of you are probably going to need to, and hopefully you do, take a lot of this stuff away and then try to unpack it a little bit further. Because the more you do that, the more buy-in we have, the more we're going to adhere to the process, the more consistent, the more we win, okay? Come back to that again, okay? So continue to refine that as much as you possibly can. We're going to recap it. Remember, simple, yeah? We try and make it simple or simpler, but it's not easy. If you're looking for easy, it's not going to happen, okay? So remember, easy is not the way forward. Yes, we can make things simpler. We can help you with that. You can help yourself with that, but it shouldn't be easy, okay? You have to be honest with what you are willing to do to get there. So hopefully the more you've spoken about it and talked through it with the people on your table, there's probably times where you've gone, oh, okay, well, I've got this barrier, I mentioned it earlier. How much are you willing to do to get there? And if you're not willing to do the work, again, it's okay. All right, don't put yourself into a position where you're trying to do something that actually it's not right for you. Maybe not right now anyway. Okay, so it comes back to that being realistic. Okay, but if you are going to set yourself out that goal, figure out what you're going to be actually willing to do to get there. Okay, as we said, it's create awareness, to create proper buy-in, create the adherence, and then win. Okay, so make sure that's written down as well. So basically, around the creating awareness. Fingers crossed, you could tick these boxes. So I've been open, honest, realistic about what I'm willing to do to achieve my goal. If we're not willing to tick that box yet, then we're missing a trick, okay? I have a better understanding of what works for me and what does not work for me. We should definitely have that down. And I understand the barriers that I will face and have a number of realistic solutions to help me overcome them. And again, hopefully, if we don't have them down right now, over the next week or two or whatever, we can really get those down, okay? Creating the buy-in. I understand exactly why I'm doing this, and hopefully, again, there's layers within that. I have created an environment that sets me up for success and not failure. That environment is partly here. It's partly the communication that you're going to have with your coach, front of house, people at home. You create an environment that's going to allow you to be successful, okay? I must have the right mindset to win. Key. Again, we can do all this work, notes taken, whatever, but if we don't have that correct mindset, approach the salt bike with a smile on our face, willing to give it a good crack, then we're not going to be successful, okay? And then the adhering, okay? So I understand that to win, I must be consistent. Key. My buy-in is so strong that I will adhere to that process and do what is necessary to win. Again, it's understanding what I'm willing to do. And then I understand that it's not easy. Okay, this is a process that takes time and dedication. The dedication there is huge. All right, sometimes motivation just isn't enough. You can watch all the David Goggins stuff that you possibly want, but sometimes it just comes down to the fact that you need to be dedicated to it to make it happen. Okay. And I heard this the other week. By Chris Williamson. He does a fantastic podcast. Second best podcast I know. But I heard this. It was the magic you were looking for is in the work that you are avoiding. Okay, and I think it's super powerful when you really start to unpack it a little bit. And it's true. Sounds harsh, but it's very, very true. Okay. So again, the magic you are looking for is in the work that you are avoiding. All right. And no, that's not me. It's not 3 Peaks. All right? Think about that even more. Write it down. Get it logged in. Because what you're looking for, if there's that mystical kind of thing that's like, yeah, I've always wanted to achieve that. John was saying earlier, I want to see what I can really unpack and see how far I can push this thing. Yeah, he understands now, we've had a lot of conversations about this kind of stuff, that it's the work that he's been putting off and avoiding. Okay? So tapping into that, really important. We're going to round this up. Okay? What's next? It's really important you now go away and digest this a little bit, all right? Think about it, write it down, rewrite it, think about it, speak to your coach. The next summit, as we said, quarterly, is going to be in January, okay? Ideally, you will all be back here because that's going to be level 1 of your accountability, okay? So what we're going to do in that summit essentially is kind of not go through the same presentation, don't panic, but review kind of what you put down on paper. And again, ask yourself the same questions. Were you successful? If so, what worked? If we were unsuccessful, why? And you haven't got to wait to the summit to do that. Hopefully you're doing that on a weekly basis or whatever, monthly basis. But we can start to unpack that and hopefully add another layer to it, okay? We have Acunics in October. Obviously, last Acunics that Mel was going to be doing before she goes on to maternity leave, okay? If you are looking for a body fat, weight-related goal, all right, and you haven't got booked in yet, please make sure we are doing that. And if we can't get booked in within the October things with Mel, speak to a coach, speak to front of house, and we'll try and figure out how we can get you in for that Acunics so we have a real good, strong starting point, okay? Speak to your coaches about that if you really, really need to. Coach accountability. Fingers crossed by now you've had some kind of contact from your coach, whether it be phone call, email, whatever, okay? If not, let me know. Use the coaches, all right? I know for a fact that we've sent lots of emails out to people and had nothing back. That's okay if you're happy, but if you need our help, that is why we're there. Okay, the Coach Accountability Service is there for a reason. Let's use it, all right? So if you are stuck, have questions, that's why it's there. Create a support network. We've mentioned that coach really comes into that. Share your wins, all right? This is because it helps you as much as it might help someone else, all right? Talking on the gym floor, talking in the corner before a session, Facebook group, social media, whatever, okay? I promise you it's not just a promotional thing for us, yeah? Share your wins, because if you are winning, it's worth sharing, and actually it's something then that gives you a bit of a boost and you're going to kind of push on, progress forward, and it might be that little thing that someone else seeing that needs, okay? And then lastly, communicate. So if you are feeling stuck with something, whether it's to do with what we've mentioned today, or something that we kind of crops up between now and the next summit, don't wait to the summit. Yeah, speak to someone, speak to a coach, speak to your coach, communicate, and then we can help you out. That's what we're here for. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Awesome. Now, question-wise, what we're going to do here, we're not going to have a big Q&A up to me or anything like that, all right? You've heard enough of my voice. What we are going to do is we have, obviously, a number of coaches around, yeah? We're going to be around for 10, 15 minutes. I would like you to, if you have questions, find a coach, okay? You're going to find a coach, you're going to have conversation, we're going to figure it out so that you leave here with some clarity, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Happy? Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome stuff. Well done, guys. Nice job. So, coaches will be circulating, okay? Find a coach if you have a question. Have that conversation. If you need to have a chat with someone else, please do so, all right? Other than that, that is what I need from you, all right?